Today, you might have seen some pictures online, but Ben finally got another adapter. I know what you're thinking. It's an adapter onto adapter onto an adapter onto an adapter. This truck has a lot of adapters, but it's needed. We're doing weird stuff.
It's only got 4-wheel adapters in this flywheel adapter. There'll probably be one more adapter that I can think of.
Well, I was gonna say, we're gonna have to do...
Something's gotta happen with the drive shaft on back of that dump truck.
I was gonna say drive shaft, and then, not to mention, it came with an adapter. There's an adapter, a little spacer from...
Well, anyways, we're getting sidetracked here.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually had the adapter for a little bit. I actually had to take the flywheel and go have it balanced. There'll be another video about that whole deal when it's all said and done. However,
it leaned out really good.
Well, what today is about is this is a nice, pretty, shiny adapter.
We don't like it. We like the adapter. We don't like the pretty shiny.
Yeah, the problem I have with the pretty shiny is that this is Brian and John will correct me on this if I got it wrong, I'm sure, but this is a 4140, I believe, type steel this is. And if I don't coat it with something, it will rust.
That also means from the fact that we've been touching it, the oil on our fingers.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. This is the stuff that you lick your fingers, stick it on there, and you have a fingerprint later.
Hand me that bottle down there on the floor, Kagan. Not that one, the little blue one. We have got...
There's your little blue bottle.
Yeah. The Caswell kit. Black oxidation concentrate 1 pint. As you can tell, there's some missing from that bottle. I've already got us a pre-mix set up. So we're going to go over the steps by this stuff to black oxidize that piece like I did the adapters.
You guys may be wondering what we're going to be doing, considering I'm standing in the same spot with the anvil in front of us, and this is not in any kind of container. Now, there's prep work. He's going to explain.
First thing they want you to do is they want you to degrease this. Like Kagan mentioned about fingerprints and everything, that it's got some oil residue and stuff on it, and they would prefer when you dip it in this stuff right here not to have oil residue and stuff on the piece. So this right here is just dishwashing liquid mixed with water. So
now, if the goal that you're going for is oxidized fingerprints all over it, we suggest you skip this step and seek some kind of psychiatric help, because I don't know if that would look good at all.
I don't even know if it would work good. But anyways, so dishwashing liquid is a degreaser. Most people know that. Most of you guys probably already know that. But I'm just going to hose this thing down with this. I'm going to handle it by this piece of wire I've attached to it. And we'll take it outside and I'm going to rinse it off once I've let this sit on it for a minute. And I'll probably flip it over during this and make sure I coat all the surface. So just going to soak it all down with this dishwashing liquid. And that'll help get all the oily fingerprints and grease. And it has been sitting in the machine shop, so goodness knows what. And
I was eating candy earlier and I touched it.
I don't think candy's the greasiest thing you've touched today.
I have no comment on that one.
Trying to make sure I'm getting in all the holes.
No comment on that one either.
Okay. So I'm gonna let that sit for just a second, not long enough to dry. Then I'll take it outside and rinse it off with water. They say you can just rinse it off with whatever water. We're just gonna use some tap water out of the dry hydrant out there, and then
I mean, they do have pretty good water here. Better than where I'm from.
Yeah, well, anyways, get this rinsed and then I'll be back. What are you doing?
Drying it.
It doesn't have to be that dry. So the chemical is, the mix is water-based. a little bit of excess water on it after you rinse it off is not going to hurt things any. Kagan did get a clean paper towel and lay down for me. So look at him go, so proud of him. But anyways, so right now all the soapy stuff's been rinsed off of it, and now it's time to go ahead and dip it. So we'll move the camera over to where you guys can see, and we'll dip it in the container I've got. All right, I know you guys can't see our pretty faces, but I've done this for a reason.
Also, I have an objection about the guy with no hair having to use a hairdryer.
But I've done this, so hopefully I can set this thing in there and you guys can kind of see the transition as it happens.
Oh, don't drop it.
I'm sure Adam will speed this up.
It.
Don't drop it. Wait. There, that's fully submerged. All right, guys, it's confession time. After I turned the camera off, we pulled it up out of there. I got to looking at the piece. I degreased it again and set it back down in there and left it in there for a long time. Now, it says in the instructions that if you leave it in there for longer than 5 minutes, you can have blotching, or what they call smutting may occur when immersed beyond 5 minutes. For what I'm doing, I don't care if it's got a pretty finish on it, because nobody's probably ever going to see it. I want to make sure it's oxidized well, therefore it won't rust on me, because it's going to go between a crankshaft and a flywheel and then transmission and dust cover and everything, and if everything goes right, we won't see this thing for a long time once I get it all together. So I don't care what it looks like. That being said, I think I'm fairly happy with it now, for the most part. It is nice and oxidized, as they say, and now my problem was I had some areas that wasn't fully coated in the seams around this piece here. So now they say before you have it out very long, I actually let it sit out for a second there, but it's kind of started to rust a little bit, just a little. You have to dip it in sealer, and so this right here is the sealer that comes with it. This is actually an old immerse part in solution for 5 minutes or brush on, let dry thoroughly. So we're going to immerse this for 5 minutes in the penetrating sealer, which I've got in this coffee can. And the problem I'm having right now is that I don't know that I have enough sealer in here to fully submerge this thing.
Probably not.
Just barely. Just barely. I have a fix for that. So the kit that I ordered came with 2 nice big bottles of penetrating sealer, 1 quart a piece. So I got 2 quarts there. And I know that you're looking at my little tin can I got here. I'm like, well, if that came with the kit, why are you using this? This came with a previous kit where I brushed it on my adapters, and I had some of it left over, so I didn't want to open the new ones. And I also have another can that came with the old kit where I brushed it on. So if I need a little bit to top that off, I don't really want to open this can because it's fully sealed. I will open one of these bottles. I can always put the cap back on and black tape it back up. They got a little clip on the cans that I kind of like it being on there if I don't plan on using all of it. So we'll take this off and dump a little in there and make sure it's fully immersed. They did not want that cap to come off. Well, it's a nice thick cap too. They taped the cap all the way around, so the tape really didn't do anything. Imagine that. So, pour some of that in there. Pour a little bit more in there. There we go. We're fully immersed now. Okay, so now that I'm fully immersed, we'll go, okay, 5 minutes, I can remove that, it should be fine. And what I'm gonna do is I'll show you guys, turn my lamp here on, down in there. There it is. It's fully submerged in water, or not water, in the sealing. So when that seals, I'll pull it out and I'll let it dry. And then once it dries, we'll see what it looks like. That way you guys can know.
Don't mind me, just getting a hammer.
We'll let you guys see what it looks like when it dries. All right, let's see what we got. Now I've still got a bunch of wool running off of it. So, trying to shake some of it off, but don't look pretty at the moment. I'll set it down over here and we'll wipe it down. With it sealed now, I can touch it again, but wipe some of the oil off of it. Go ahead and remove that. And so you can tell the finish has got a few, I guess what they call smutting. I'm not a bit worried about that because, like I said, where it's going, it's not seeing. I'm more concerned with I don't want it to rust. So that's where we're at right now. If you look at the side of it, you can see it's not an even finish. Now, if you wanted an even finish, you could follow the directions and only do it 5 minutes at a time. Probably do a better job of degreasing it than I did because I probably could have done better. Use denatured alcohol or something. But I wasn't concerned with a pretty finish. I was more concerned with keeping it from rusting, like I said. And what I'm going to do is, I didn't want to layer it with paint because like this piece right here, the inner part, it's got to fit over the crankshaft. So I can't just douse a whole bunch of paint on it because it is a machine fit here, and the outside the flywheel fits on. So I will put a thin layer of paint, which will probably get raked off as I put it in. And I might even mask this area off to keep from getting paint on it somehow. Maybe cut me a plug or something that'll lay in there, or stuff it full of paper towels or something. But anyways, I'll let this dry off real good. I'll put a thin layer of paint on it, and I'll use this piece. But the Caswell Black Oxidating Kit, this is the second time I've used it. Both times I've been pretty happy with the outcome. I know the adapters are on the truck, at least the rear ones are, and we've been running them for a while. And I've not seen any issues with the rust, especially what I was concerned about is where the wheels, when you put them on, it stretches the paint off of it. That's where I was afraid it would rust at, and I'm not seeing any rust on them. So the black oxidizing on those is doing what I intended it to do.
My only thing with them is it appears it shrinks the tires after a while.
Oh, Kagan don't like my new tires. So, get you up here where you can see my pretty face. Guys, we appreciate you watching this video. If you guys are looking to black oxidize something, I recommend the Caswell kit. I don't know if you're looking for a pretty finish or not, and you might want to follow directions a little bit better than I did, but hold up. There's been a development.
You learned how to use the hairdryer.
Yeah, I learned how to use So after I put the oil on there, and I'm like, well, I want the oil to try and dry up real quick, and I'm gonna apply some more heat and make sure it's good and dry here in a minute, because I want to try and get this thing ready to paint with some oil-based paint. But took the heat gun.
Hairdryer.
Heat gun. What you had was a hairdryer. And then I rubbed it down too. It's still a bit warm to handle with my hands, but the finish completely changed on it. So even if like, now there was a few places like right there, it just didn't, see that little shiny spot there? I'll put some paint on that and it shouldn't be an issue, but it didn't coat well there for some reason. I don't know if some oil laid in there and that's why it didn't take, but the rest of it, man, the rest of it looks good. I don't know how well you guys tell I'm trying to get the light, but it all kind of evened out as I put some heat on it and rubbed it down. So yeah, that worked out good. Worked out real good. So if you guys are looking to do something to get you a nicer finish, because before I didn't think the finish was so great, put a little heat on it, give it a little rub down, you end up with some black stuff on your fingers. But yeah. Now, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.